Hi and welcome. In this video I want to briefly discuss and talk about this bicycle rack for hauling luggage. I had questions from different people over the past months who want to travel around different countries, through different countries, bicycle touring, and I remember then I have a model that's over a decade old, that I've had it for more than a decade, but it's still being made. So that's a very good recommendation, tried and tested and still available. It's a miracle. So this is Topeak Super Tourist DX model. They also have an alternative model for disc brakes with a slightly different design, but mostly the same. It's I put the manufacturer website link and Amazon affiliate link in the video's description so you can see the model. They have models with this spring and more readily and easily available models without the spring. If I don't forget, I'll show you the model without the spring. I don't like it nearly as much. This is super practical and I'll show you in a minute why. First, just to overview it. It has very nice setup to hold your panniers from getting into the spokes. The pannier rail, mounting rail, is lower, so you can mount both your panniers and have room to mount something on top like a backpack. So let's show it. I have a video about these and how they are mounted and everything. So Ortlieb panniers, I'll put that video, a link to that video in this video's description, and maybe make it pop up if I don't forget when I upload this. So this leaves me room to put my backpack, and I have an article showing how to do this. This is super practical. I just hold this and put my backpack like this, and then on the front I put these around my saddle and just tuck them into the back. And this is a hardware store bungee cord, cheap, readily available in most places, so I just get it around, and that allows me to ride through bumpy terrain without my backpack, even if it's heavily loaded, coming off, without the extra rigidity and structural support of this spring. That doesn't work, and this flies all over the place and it takes me a lot of time. But this way it's super handy because I make many stops. I use bicycle as a transport for commuting, so this makes it super convenient for me to easily and quickly just mount and dismount my backpack whenever I make a stop. And this usually sits here. That's how I roll. So very good model, very practical. It's rated for 26 kilograms officially, and it satisfies a dozen of those safety standards, whatever. That's nonsense. For me, it's important that I've tried and tested it, and yes, it can hold any kind of load that I've put on it, even on rough terrain, for over a decade. But I would not recommend riding with light adults or heavier, bigger children. At the rear, for safety, it's aluminium, probably hollow tubes, so there are some steel, a lot heavier, cheaper models, racks for that you can make yourself and make them as sturdy as you like, but this is not that. This here is super light for its strength and rigidity and durability, but don't expect it to hold 100 kilograms. So I will now try to show some other models just for comparison. Almost forgot to stress this, the fact that pannier holding rails are lower allows you to carry something on top at the same time as the panniers. And for me, very practical in practice, almost daily use is this. It's made for mounting some Topeak accessories, but that's nonsense. But I use it to just place things on top of it, and keys or whatever when I'm doing stuff, and it's a lot more practical than models without this this section. Okay, here for comparison, this is Autumn, the model without the spring, and this is the same. Super Tourist DX, they have models with and without the spring, and for disc brakes and for rim brakes, so those are some slight differences, but I really don't like the fact that here I don't have that spring, so it's a lot less practical. Topeak sells separately attachment springs for about $5 a piece, but they have plastic attachments. They are not made of metal like the when you buy the model with the spring made built in already, so they don't look as promising and as durable. But I do plan to put them to the test and see how that fares. Of course, I did some adjustments on this one, but it's basically the same model. And of course, every bicycle should have a kickstand. I'll make a separate video about that, and I've discussed kickstands in my article about commuting bicycle buying and maybe even trekking bicycle buying. I'm not sure. I'll show you some other bikes now. Okay, so here we have some other models just for comparison. This is made of steel, and this is not the strongest model that I've seen, but with some stronger bolts and maybe some tightening. I used to ride with my friends standing on a rack like this, so these are pretty surprisingly sturdy and durable. They don't look as nice, and for their rigidity they are relatively heavy, so the aluminum tubes generally for just hauling stuff and commuting are probably a better idea, but I would be lying if I said that these models are not very strong and durable and useful also. And it doesn't have that top section for laying things, so it's less practical for me after I've gotten used to the convenience of having a dashboard on your bicycle. So that's one option to compare with. And this is a less expensive, a bit heavier, but still pretty strong aluminum rack that also has a way to keep your panniers from getting into the spokes, but it doesn't have lowered rails for holding panniers, so it's less convenient to mount both panniers and your backpack on top. And as far as I can tell, this model does not have a spring. And for all other things considered, those are the main differences. And it's a bit heavier without having too much stronger declared weight capacity, load capacity. So those are some options and some differences, and there are millions of models in between those extremes, if you like. So that's something to be aware of. And of course, Topeak that I've shown is not the only model, and it's not everyone's favorite, I'm sure, but for me it is my favorite, and I already have two of those models, so that says a lot. I say, as they say, put your money where your mouth is, so no more honest recommendation than that. I think I didn't forget now anything. That's probably now the whole video, and I'll see you in some other. Cheers.